Welcome back to my channel. I'm Yashua, the destination for Saints fans and sports fans around the world. Whether you're a diehard Saints fan like myself, or you really love football, you love sports, I got your latest updates, discussion, debates, and analysis right here. So today I want to give my Saints schedule prediction. Starting off with the first game, we got the Cardinals, and I feel like we could pull that game off. Kyler Murray, I'm not, too. He's a really good player, but it's not someone that I'm going to spend a week on just thinking about. Like, I'm not too worried about that game. I think the Saints can pull that game out. They keep constant pressure on Kyler Murray, continue to play in that backfield, stall out the run game, and really just get a push from the D-line up front and really just wreak havoc on the offensive line. That's the best way that I feel like we could attack them defensively, offensively, use the run game. Even though that's kind of tough to say, granted. I mean, we have been playing like in training camp and that last preseason game, but find a way to move the ball on the ground. And if you could find a way to move the ball on the ground, then you could use that in the play action game and move the ball through the end downfield for big plays and possibly put a lot of points on the board. Moving on to the next game, we do have the 49ers, and I think we're going to win. We're going to lose that game, and we're going to go 1-1 in our first two games. The 49ers last year, they dealt with a lot of injuries, similar to us, but I do feel like the 49ers are a playoff-ready team. They just got to find themselves, stay off the injury list, and they're going to be all right, man. Yeah, I got us losing that game. They was ranked 4th in offensive yards per game. They was 3rd in passing yards per game. The 49ers is a really good team, man, if they can stay healthy. So I do feel like we're going to drop that game to the Niners. Yeah. And really, that game is going to honestly come down to, like, if the Saints can score on that defense. I believed in our offense. I do think we have some weapons. We have some explosive weapons, but they have a really good defense. It was 2nd in passing yards allowed, and it was 7th in yards allowed. It's going to be really tough moving that ball on them, especially if we don't establish a ground game and we just relying on the pass. We got a rookie quarterback. And we also have a second-year quarterback that's not going to play well in our favor. So I do feel like we're going to drop that game to the Niners in week 2. And then moving on to the Seahawks, I feel like that's going to be a really tough game, man, going into Seattle, going into that hostile environment, going into the 12th man is going to be a tough game. And, whether we start Tyler Shuck or whether we start Spencer Rattler, that's a tough game for any young quarterback. I don't see us pulling that game out. I do feel like the Seahawks is going to win that game, and the Saints is going to drop to 1-2. Now entering week 4, we're on the 2-game losing streak, and we go into Buffalo Bills, and it's not going to be any better. I got us losing this game also, man. We're going to go 1-3 in our first 4 games. The Buffalo Bills, I mean, it speaks for itself. They have the MVP in Josh Allen. They were 2nd in offensive yards per game. They was 4th in rushing yards per game, 2nd in passing yards per game, and they was 2nd in points per game with 30.9 points a game. I don't see our defense holding up on that explosive offense. I'm sorry. And it's just gonna be hard, man. In Buffalo, in that environment, in that crowd, it's tough to win out there. Again, we're gonna be asking our young quarterbacks, and we're gonna be asking our young quarterback and the offense to do a lot that game. We're gonna be asking our offense to put up a lot of points, to be really explosive, to move the ball downfield consistently. And I just don't see us doing that against the Bills. I'm sorry. I got us dropping that game also and going 1-3. Now we back at home, and now we got the Giants. I feel like this is the reset that we need to get our season back on track. This is the game that we need to finally find our momentum and find our second win. The Giants last year, they was ranked in the 34th, and they was ranked the 31st in every major metric offensively. There was 31st in offensive yards per game. There was 31st in rushing yards per game. There was 31st in passing yards per game, and it was 31st in points per game. I do feel like the Saints can beat that team. I know they made a lot of upgrades with the quarterback position. They made a lot of upgrades in the draft with the D-line. I get it, but at home with the crowd behind us, I feel like the Saints can pull that game out, and we can go 2-3, especially if we establish a ground game with Elvin Kamara. And by doing that, we can open up doors downfield and play action and shotgun, and really try to take the top off the defense. With our young explosive receivers, Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, the old man with Brandon Cooks. Even if Mason Tipton can break out and be part of this rotation, I see him having a good game against the Giants. So I see us winning that game and going 2-3. And now heading into week 6, we got the Patriots. And coming off that victory against the Giants at home, I feel like we could take this game against the Patriots. We can win this game and we could go 3-3. I don't really believe the Patriots can really outscore or outhandle the New Orleans Saints. I feel like we could get that game. There was 31st in offensive yards per game. There was 14th in rushing yards per game, 32nd in passing yards per game, and 38th in points per game. And I feel like our defense is going to really give them a hard time with the pass rush, that front seven with Carl Granderson, Chase Young, Brian Brzee, Devine Godchaux. You got the back end with the linebackers with Demario Davis, Pete Warner. I feel like we're going to give them problems with our front seven. And I just don't feel like the Patriots can handle us. I got us winning that game. We're going 3-3. And now we got a little bit more momentum on our feet. Now we feel like, feel like we got something special. And now we move on to week 7 against the Bears, and we travel to Chicago. And we go to Chicago, and everybody got us losing this game. But I feel like the Saints can beat the Bears in Chicago and go 4-3. I'm not a believer in nothing that concerns the Bears. There was 32nd in offensive yards per game. There was 21st in rushing yards per game. There was 31st in passing yards per game. And there was 25th in points per game. I don't feel like they're going to be able to move the ball on our defense. I truly got a lot of faith in our defense. We are gritty. We stout. We can really guard the, well, I ain't gonna say we could stop the run, but with Devine Godchaux in the middle, I feel very confident, and it's gonna give the Bears a tough time. I don't see the Bears really putting up that much points against us, and I don't feel like our offense will struggle against their defense too much. The defense was ranked 27th in yards per game. There was 27th in rushing yards allowed per game. I feel like our offensive line, Elvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, and Cam Akers, CEH, they're gonna have a good day. They're gonna have a good day that day, and they're gonna accumulate a lot of yards on the ground, which can open up play action, shotgun passes, deep balls, intermediate routes can open that up, and accumulate some points and put some points on the board. So I got us beating the Bears in week 7, and now we're going 4-3, and now we feeling good. The media is starting to be on our what, and everything just seems good, and everything's feeling good until we go back home in week 8 against the Bucks and we lose that game. I don't feel like we're going to beat the Bucks. There was 3rd in offensive yards per game. There was 5th in rushing yards per game. There was 4th in passing yards and 4th in points per game. The Bucks are a pretty good team. I don't feel like we're going to be able to get that game at home, even though we coming off a high against the Bears. I still don't feel like we could get the Bucks at home. I feel like we're going to drop that, and we're going to go 4-4. I think the Bucks have a really good defense. Then you flip the ball over on that offensive side of the ball, Rashad White and that offensive line, they can really move it on the ground. And when they do that, it opens up the passing game for them with Mike Evans and that passing group with the weapons outside. So I feel like the Bucks is going to take that game. And now heading into week 9 against the Rams, I don't feel like we're going to win that game, even though it is a winnable game. It's just going to be a really hostile environment. And again, I feel like that's going to play a big part with our young quarterbacks. Whoever is starting that game, whether it's Mr. Rattler, Tyler Shuck, is going to play a big part in that hostile environment. I feel like the Rams going to be able to pull that one off, and the Saints going to drop that game and go to 4-5. And now it's week 10, and we got the Panthers. And I feel like, man, look, until the Panthers show me something, I don't believe in nothing they got going on. I feel like the Saints can beat the Panthers and go 5-5. I just don't believe in the Panthers. I don't believe in Bryce Young. He has to show me yet. Just how people say Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler is unproven, well, to me, Bryce Young is unproven also. So until Bryce Young show me something, I don't think he could mess with the Saints. And especially what the Saints did to them last year in week 1, it's just impossible for me to think that the Panthers could beat the Saints. I got the Saints beating the Panthers going 5-5. And now in week 11, the Saints got a bye week. But coming off that bye week in week 12, we got the Falcons at home. And I feel like we're going to win that game against the Falcons and go 6-5. Yes, the Falcons, there was 8th in offense. Then again, I don't give a fuck about the Falcons. They just not beating us at home. I'm standing on that coming out the bye week and coming off that win against the Panthers in week 10. I feel like we're going to have a little bit more momentum on our hands. And with the home crowd behind us, I feel like the Saints could pull it off and beat the Falcons in a hostile and a big rivalry game. Something that really means a lot to not just the players, but also the fans. I feel like we could pull that game out against the Falcons and go 6-5. And now we're going to Miami against the Dolphins in week 13. And I feel like we're going to drop this game. This game is going to come down to which defense can create the most problem for the other team's offense. And I feel like Miami defense, that was ranked 4th in yards allowed per game, that was ranked 9th in points allowed per game. It's going to be real hard and real difficult to beat that team at home with the young quarterbacks that we have back there. I just don't see us winning that game. I got Miami beating us, and we going 6-6. And now we headed to week 14 against the Bucks, and we got to go to Tampa. And again, I feel like Tampa Bay window of opportunity is slightly open right now. I feel like they just slightly better than us, and I feel like they're gonna win that game, and we're gonna drop down to 6-7. It's gonna be a hostile environment. It's gonna be a divisional rivalry game, and again, in Tampa with our young QB, it's just gonna be tough getting that game out. In Tampa against the Bucks, I got us losing that game. But heading into week 15, and we got the Panthers, and we could feel good about ourselves knowing that we possibly, most likely have a free win against the Panthers. Listen, I don't believe in the Panthers. I don't believe in what they got going on. I don't believe in Bryce Young. Again, just how people say Spencer Rattler is unproven. Spencer Rattler is this. Tyler Shuck is unproven. Tyler Shuck is this. That's the same way I feel about Bryce Young, because Bryce Young hasn't showed us anything for us to be like, oh, he gonna stand out. You feel me? I go back to last year against the Saints, against the Panthers. The Saints and the Panthers first game, we put 47 on their head. Bryce Young literally was trying to take a snap behind his right tackle. I don't believe him. I don't believe in Bryce Young, bro. We got that game. Saints gonna go 7-7. And now, after feeling good about ourselves beating the brakes off the Panthers in week 15, we got the Jets in week 16, and I feel like we're gonna take that game and go 8-7. Again, Justin Fields hasn't shown me anything. That wouldn't be a game that I'd be spending my week on just thinking about, like, damn, Justin Fields might tear our defense up. Gosh, that Jets defense is really horrifying. I'm not going into that game thinking that at all. I feel like we could beat the Jets and go 8-7. And now we got week 17 against the Titans in Tennessee. And I feel like we're going to take this game and go 9-7. Two things that make me really believe that we can win this game. One, I don't fear a rookie quarterback for my team. It's just something that I never was fond of, even though we had problems in the past. It's just something that I wouldn't, lose rest over the night before. I feel like we could take that game. And not to mention, the Titans was the worst team in the NFL last year. I don't fear that team whatsoever. Congratulations, y'all got a pretty good quarterback. That doesn't scare anybody. I got the Saints winning that game and going 9-7. And last but not least, we got the Fail and we got the Caints. And I feel like we're gonna split the season series against the Fail and the Caints, and we're gonna go 9-8 this season. It's always a tough matchup going against the Fail Caints. That's just historically how it's always been. So I feel like, yeah, we're gonna go 9-8 this season. I know a lot of people don't believe that we're gonna win more than 5 games. Honestly, that's up to y'all. Anytime I ask somebody to put bread on it, to put moolah on it, they never want to do it because they never want to stick by that egregious statement. The Saints going 9-8, and that's that.